Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. If available, please open court.
All rise. Dallas County Commissioners Court is now in session for the December 2018 term. The Honorable Clay Lewis Jenkins presiding. Please remain standing for the invocation.
And the invocation will be given today by a guest of Commissioner Daniels.
Good morning. Reverend Mitchell Boone is currently serving as a senior pastor at White Rock United Methodist Church in East Dallas. Before this appointment, Mitchell served as the associate pastor at White Rock EMC and as the pastor of Lone Oak United Methodist Church in Lone Oak, Texas. Mitchell received his bachelor's degree from Hendrix College in Conway, Arkansas, and his master's of divinity from the School of Theology in Denver, Colorado. Mitchell serves on the executive board of the Greater Casaview Alliance, Texas Impact, and the Golden Cross Ministry of Methodist Health System, Dallas. He was selected as a fellow for the Clergy Civic Engagement Institute at Hendrix. Mitchell comes from a long line of United Methodist clergy. His father, Reverend Dr. Keith Boone, currently serves at University Park United Methodist Church. He and his wife, Elizabeth Van Ort, met while both studying at ELIF and have been married since 2012. Ellie is the director of AmeriCorps at City Square. They have a 1-year-old named Cash and an awesome dog named Java. In his free time, Mitchell enjoys collecting vinyl, baking, and cheering on Dallas sports venues. Thank you very much for coming to lead us this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Daniel. May this prayer be a blessing for this county and all of our residents. Will you pray with me? God of many names, our creator and our sustainer, just as you are worshiped in diverse ways in our beautiful county, we celebrate the diversity of our residents, regardless of creed or belief, race or economic status, gender or sexual orientation. May Dallas County continue to strive for the equality of all residents. As our nation and our state grow divided around government and politics, guide our commissioners to lead in such a way that our residents feel heard and, more importantly, feel respected. May partisanship or personal agenda be set aside so that our county can be a place where all are valued. Where there are differences, help us to have robust and meaningful debate. And where there is consensus, let us get the job done quickly. For there is plenty that needs to be addressed by this court. Give our leaders creative minds and open hearts. Help us to seek a better tomorrow, which is not built through empty promises or slick rhetoric, but is found in the way we care for one another. You are a God that operates from a place of abundance. And from this abundance, let us not seek to hoard, but to give. May we find our worth as a great community, not in the bridges we build or the high-end neighborhoods we develop, but help us to measure success in the ways we care for those who are often forgotten. Guide this county's leadership to see compassion and justice as a defining metric in what makes a great community. And for those of our residents that worry about their tomorrow, where they will find shelter or food or safety or peace, may we pay special attention. Inspire our faith communities to do their part by paying attention to the neighborhoods they are called to serve and giving a voice to the voiceless. And may we remember it is not about how much power or wealth or influence we obtain for ourselves. Rather, it is about how we shape and co-create with you a more just-filled world. So for all that is before us, for the work to be done, let us get to work starting today. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, neighbor.
Amen. All right. Today is our employee recognition program. And it is the day that we recognize the best and the brightest, the employees we hope to recruit and retain, in short, all of you. Now, after its conclusion, we're going to recess to allow y'all and your guests to leave before we continue the remainder of the posted agenda. This morning, we're here to recognize the employees who've been singled out by their respected elected officials and department heads as Employees of the Month. One of these outstanding employees will be named as Dallas County's Employee of the Year. This is our 5th year in this program, and it keeps getting better and better. Throughout the year, 85 employees have been presented with resolutions from Commissioners Court during the month in which they were named Employee of the Month. We want to thank Annie Coleman and Myrna Gask in the clerk's office for all their support with the monthly postings and filings of the resolution. First, we have 2 employees who were not formally recognized in court last session. Would the following employees please come forward? Mary Walton and James Rosas. Y'all here? I see one of you. Let's see, Mary said. Oh. Right, we go. All right. All right. And the resolution reads as follows. Whereas Dallas County Commissioners Court authorized the creation of the Employee Recognition Program in 2012 to encourage recognition of dedicated employees who represent the best and the brightest of our workforce. And whereas the Dallas County Employee Recognition Program is consistent with the county's approved administrative plan, under which the county seeks to be operationally a model governmental entity. These employees represent the exemplar employee Dallas County hopes to recruit and retain. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby salute the following December 2018 employees for their respective departments and offers best wishes for continued success at Dallas County. Thank y'all. Good job. Now, at this time, we'd like to recognize, y'all can just, I don't know if we're going to get everybody to stand up or not, but we're going to recognize and say the names of the people who've been Employees of the Month, starting with Health and Human Services. We had Yancey Turner, Doris Bass, Barbara Davis, Laura Gomez, Barbara Davis, Laura Gomez again, Marissa Gonzalez, Julie Martinelli, Arlena Guzzi, Camelia Lewis, Jennifer Aguirre, Shirley Jefferson, Pamela DeRoe, and Dr. Modesta Onya. And so let's give it up for those Health and Human Services. And at Public Works, we had Jack Tidwell, Les St. John, Hilarion Oliveira, twice, William Stoll, Ebenezer Ben Ajahe, Lillian Onyango, and Nathan Vega. Give it up for those Public Works employees. And at the Tax Office, we had Nicole Jeffrey, Evelyn Rivera, Oz Lopez, Raven Dossie, Jesse Bigley, Amber White, Kimberly Rodman, Elizabeth Salazar, Cynthia Herrera, Christina Benedict, Diana Contaner, and Vanessa Rodriguez. Give it up for those great employees of the Tax Office. And then the auditor, they're putting all their eggs in one basket apparently. We got Martha Valdeспino. All right, Martha. And at Facilities, Ken McDougall and Mike Garland. Congratulations. And Information Technology, Carlos Blanco, Tamia Fletcher, Kenneth Stevens, Carla Williams, Brian Stair, Joe Charles, and Nicole Block. In Criminal Justice, Nikish Greer, Ketta Dickerson, and Teresa Salisbury. Sorry about that, Keita. All right, congrats. All right, and District Clerk, we've got John Felch, Jesusita Tovar, Marissa Pittman, Daniel Macias, Alejandro Rodella, Candace Tyler, Kimberly Ferguson, Hassan Ali, and Loretta Turner. And at Juvenile, we've got Arnaldo Pajat, all right. Y'all making it tough on Waxahachie with these names, y'all. Lawana Jackson, Alvin Johnson, April Turner, Sarah Fisher, Samantha Lee, Kendrick Smith, and John Jones. And at the Marshalls, we have Mary Walton. And at security, we have James Rosas. At the sheriff, we have Detective Felicia Resendez. From these employees, one person from each department has been selected as a finalist for Employee of the Year. This year, we divided the departments into 4 categories based on scope of service. The categories are constituent service, county operations, courts and justice, administration, and law enforcement. At this time, I will announce the finalists for Employee of the Year for constituent services. Will the following finalists please come forward as I call your name? Barbara Davis from Health and Human Services. Lillian Onyango from Public Works. Cynthia Herrera from the Tax Office. All right, that Tax Office brought the cheering section, didn't they? And at this time, I'll announce the finalists for Employee of the Year for County Operations. Will the following finalists please come forward as I call your name? Mike Garland with Facilities. And Joe Charles with Information Technology. And at this time, I'll announce the finalists for Employee of the Year for Courts and Justice Administration. Will the following finalists please come forward as I call your name? Keita Dickerson. Hassan Ali. And Lawana Jackson with Juvenile. Sounds like Juvenile got a little spirit in the house, too. And finally, I will announce the finalists for Employee of the Year for Law Enforcement. Will the following finalists please come forward as I call your name? Mary Walton with the Marshal's Office. James Rosas with the Security. And Detective Felicia Resendez with Sheriff. Now, one person from each of these categories will be named our Employee of the Year. Please give them one last round of applause. You may now, let's get a picture and then you can be seated. All right, you better stand up, you ain't gonna be able to see it. Right. Oh, sure. You up?
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Good job, y'all. Y'all can all be seated, and then we'll get 4 of you back up here again. All right, so a panel of outside judges was brought in to review the nominations of the finalists and make a final determination of Employee of the Year in each of these categories. We will now announce the 4 Dallas County Employees of the Year. All right, let me get the drum roll going. Our 2018 Employee of the Year for Constituent Services is Cynthia Herrera with the... All right, let's see that happy dance. All right, and let's see.
We need to do the new one, the kind of breaking.
Yeah,
The floss.
Cynthia Herrera is the Assistant Manager for the George Allen Downtown Branch of the Dallas County Tax Office. As such, she manages the tax office's branch operations. Backing up her branch manager, Cynthia is responsible for maintaining consistently high standards of employee training and development, adherence to service level protocols, and trustworthy funds management. She schedules staff to meet the ever-changing office demands, coaches employees, and prepares employee performance appraisals as needed. Cynthia is a subject matter expert on rules, laws, and regulations affecting the county, carrying out its role as a local agent for the state in titling the registration of motor vehicles. Cynthia may very well be one of the best employees in the tax office. She is knowledgeable, dependable, humble, helpful, gracious, respectful, and such a joy to work with in any capacity. Cynthia is also a clear communicator who carefully words her exchanges with customers, staff, and leadership to convey her message in the best way possible. Cynthia consistently has a calm temperament delivered so dependably, it's amazing. In that unwavering balancing emotions, responses, and stresses, professionally in the midst of daily pressures is uncommon and highly valued. It is this type of quiet employee who steadily does her job well. That could easily be overlooked. Cynthia is also a wonderful example of our other employees by arriving on time each day and finding ways to deliver tough news kindly to our customer. She beautifully assists her manager in smoothly operating our George Allen Downtown Branch Tax Office. I move adoption of this resolution recognizing Cynthia Herrera as the Dallas County Employee of the Year for Constituent Services.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. John?
Thank you to the judge and commissioners for this recognition of Cynthia. She truly is a shining star in the tax office. We could not do what we do without Cynthia every day. And she's in our George Allen branch, so she gets to work with all the judges over there that are going to come down and register their vehicles. That right there deserves recognition. So, if I could clone Cynthia, I would for sure. So we're so honored. And might I say, I think this is 2 years in a row that we've won over on.
Yeah, that's right. Congratulations, Ms. Days.
Well, I just want to thank my managers. I think because of them, they've been great to me. They've been my mentors. So I really just want to thank Ms. Rita, Christina Benedict, Ms. Ellen Hayes. They've been great for me. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
One, two, three.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. All right. Now we have our Employee of the Year for County Operations. And our Employee of the Year for County Operations is Mr. Joe Charles. Joe has served in his current position since November 26, 2007. Joe's nomination form listed the following supporting information. As a result of the delay in the implementation of TechShare JP, the mainframe team was notified of the OCA SIP changes in the beginning of September 2018. We were informed that the JP Courts waiver was due to expire on October 31st, 2018, and the JP Courts will be responsible for providing OCA SIP reporting using current mainframe system. In order to make this happen in such a quick time frame, we had to call on one of our most experienced mainframe developers, Joe Charles. Joe demonstrated extraordinary efforts as it relates to making updates to the mainframe system to assist the JP Courts in the OCA SIP reporting in a timely manner. Joe participated in working sessions with the customers to understand the requirements, identify process changes, and to work through any unknowns. In order to meet the identified requirements, Joe had to make configuration changes to the front end of the application, as well as review numerous batch programs to determine what additional program changes were needed. Joe focused on this effort for the last month and was able to make all the configuration changes, test the changes, and develop audit reporting to assist the JP staff with the OCA CIP reporting. Joe's effort will save the JP Courts hundreds of hours in manual labor in providing OCA SIP reporting. This effort would not have been successful without his hard work and dedication. I move adoption of this resolution recognizing Joe Charles as the Dallas County Employee of the Year for county operations. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Major?
Certainly, we want to thank the Commissioners Court, County Judge, and Commissioners for this recognition for one of our team members, certainly who I think his efforts are representative of the rest of the IT team. Certainly, Joe is kind of like the E.F. Hutton of his section. If you say it ain't so, Joe, it's stuff that typically you can believe in what typically he says. But obviously, as the commissioners the county judges read Joe's certificate, it's a great combination of being able to go through and actually have great technical skills, but also being able to go through and actually work with customers and stuff. That's certainly a great combination. And certainly, we want to thank him for his great work, and certainly we want to thank the Commissioners Court for the great honor of this recognition for him, as well as for IT.
Joe?
Thanks.
Good speech. Good speech.
Well, he's coming up, that's very modest, but that kept us out of a lot of trouble with the state, so thank you, Joe. Yeah.
All right. Let's get a picture.
These are all of Joe's leadership team.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Next, we have Employee of the Year for Courts and Justice Administration. And that is Luana Jackson with the All right, Luana, come on down. Unfortunately, you don't. It's not like the Price is Right. You can't win a washing machine, but come on back. Luana Jackson functioned as a sole assessment officer in the unit for over a year. She transitioned into the position due to a staff shortage. When a new assessment officer was hired this year, Ms. Jackson eagerly took her under her wing to provide one-on-one training on a daily basis. In addition to her daily duties, she also supports her co-workers with reporting and field contacts, such as school visits and home study evaluations. She has a good relationship with administration and the judges. Her work ethic is trusted and her word is credible. Ms. Jackson is described by her co-workers as humble, dependable, compassionate, and giving. She is described by her supervisors as a servant leader. While she would shy away from being called a leader, she is an impeccable role model in many ways. She serves her clients with generous giving of her time, far beyond her appointed schedule. Whether meeting with a parent before their workday begins or late evening, a common comment she is heard saying when scheduling a meeting is, "Whatever is convenient for you." Her approach to serving our youth is with the compassion of a mother. Another familiar quote from her is, "What if that were your child?" Ms. Jackson's astute assessment skills and ability to conceptualize information has been key in winning the support of attorneys in situations when disposition has been challenged. She assumes the role of lead worker during supervisor's absence. She voluntarily assumes a large role in the hands-on training of new staff. Ms. Jackson, by nature, loves to serve others. It is not forced or for personal gain. It is genuinely who she is as a person. This character trait is a tremendous asset to the department and exemplifies the spirit of our core values. I move the adoption of this resolution recognizing LaWanna Jackson as the Dallas County Employee of the Year for Courts and Justice Administration. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Well, Judge, Commissioners, thank you very much for this recognition for Ms. Jackson. I know that all our employees for the county makes it a competitive process, a worthy process. I've been with the county for 3 months now, and as I was being taken around to some of the different offices, I went into our Grand Prairie office, and I got the great opportunity to meet Ms. Jackson. And I will tell you that she had me at hello. So, but everything that you had mentioned, Judge, is true. She has a discerning spirit, a humble heart, and she really looks at youth, family, and community first. So, thank you for this recognition.
Thank you. Jackson. Any words? You want to take a picture?
God is good. That's all I can do.
God is good.
Thank you.
One, two, three.
Thank you all. Congrats. All right, y'all, one more, and our last one. Our Employee of the Year for law enforcement is Detective Felicia Resendez. She's working her way somehow down. There she is. Make room for the person with a firearm. All right. In her role as the Sheriff's Department's Sex Offender Registration Officer, Detective Resendez is extremely passionate about her job, and she devotes an enormous amount of time and energy day in and day out towards increasing public safety by working to ensure that sex offenders are in compliance with sex offender registration laws. As part of her duties, Detective Resendez conducts in-person address verifications and sends a clear message to offenders about being held accountable for failure to remain in compliance with the state registration laws. Detective, you got it? Detective Resendez actively conducts criminal investigations for violation of registration laws. When warranted, she makes arrests and completes comprehensive prosecution and case reports for the submittal to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. She is often praised by the DA's office for the thoroughness and completeness of her investigations. Detective Resendez understands the role of sex offender tracking and monitoring does not rest with a single agency. She goes through extraordinary efforts by consistently collaborating with the state and local agencies, police, parole, and the courts to ensure that sex offenders do not slip through the cracks and pose a bigger threat to the public. When problems arise, she does not pass the buck. She works to find answers and solutions. She is an asset to Dallas County and the Dallas County Sheriff's Department. I move adoption of this resolution recognizing Detective Felicia Resendez as the Dallas County Employee of the Year for Law Enforcement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Morning, Judge. I want to thank the court for Detective Resendez's recognition. As one of her supervisors, I see daily the tremendous amount of work that she does. And I can truly say that Dallas County is a safer place today because of Detective Resendez's work.
Speechless, and that's not very common. I honestly feel like I won the lottery. I want to thank my section along with the department, and I have wonderful supervisors. I'm truly blessed.
I apologize. He had a Trump moment. We should have bumped him.
She caught it.
That ain't the point. So did that Puerto Rico.
Tells you how to box around.
Yeah, you don't.
One, two, three. Thanks, guys.
One more.
1, 2, 3.
In a moment, we're going to take a break to allow our visitors that choose to leave we'll take a recess, but Dr. Daniel has asked for a brief moment of personal privilege before we do so.
One more person who has done so much for Dallas County. Oh, I gotta get it. Okay. So while we do have a room full of people who work day in, day out for the good of Dallas County, would Judge Ken Wilberg please come forward? Wilberg has been sitting as a district judge for 10 years and has done his duty to Dallas County in so many, many ways, not only as a respected person on the bench. His work in the community is widely known. But one of the short straws that he drew was that he has participated and has been a member of the IT countywide committee for a number of years and has been there providing through his experience, through his knowledge, guidance, and we really appreciate all that he has done. You may wonder why are we doing this now, except that he is now leaving that particular bench to move on up into the Court of Appeals, where he can then have a much broader impact on a larger community. But he will not be forgotten here for what he has done to make things better for Dallas County and its residents, and I suspect that he is not done yet. So thank you, Judge Mulberg.
commissioners, for this. And, the last 4 years I've been the local administrative district judge. It's not always been pleasurable, but it has been a pleasure. A lot of people don't know here that I've known a lot of you for many, many years. Mike Cantrell, and I wish you the best, Commissioner. I wish you the best, and I hate to see you leave here. And a lot of people don't know that Commissioner Price, when our oldest son was born, way back then, you remember that, Commissioner, Linda and I came home from the hospital, and Commissioner Price was the first one at the house with a baby gift, and Linda and I will never forget that. And of course, good Lord, Judge Jenkins, and go so far back with your mother, and so far back with Commissioner Daniel and Commissioner Garcia. So you won't see my face as LADJ anymore. It'll probably be a thrill. I think I've tried my best to be a good advocate for the judiciary while remaining within as a team player for the county. And thank you all. Commissioner Price, thank you for your dedicated service to the Juvenile Board. And Commissioner Daniel, and I serve on that also, and Commissioner Daniel for the IT Executive Committee. A lot of people in the public do not know what some of you do when you're not in this room. And there are not two more dedicated public servants that I've seen on those committees than Commissioner Price and Commissioner Daniel. So thank you all very much.
We'll now take a recess until 9:45 for folks to go back to leave if they choose to. And thank you all. And for those of you, your boss says you got to get to work, do that. Thank you all. And again, thank you for being great
Congratulations
employees.
for the winner. I forgot something.
Send them out one way. They got you doing camera duty? For that. Okay. You got somebody to take it, or you want
Court will please come back to order. Got a lot of folks here. Today must be like Resolution Tuesday. We got a lot of resolutions. And the next several will be given by Commissioner Cantrell.
All right. I'm going to call up my entire office staff and all of their families. I'm going to get them all to come up. They want to come up as a group. Matter of fact, Commissioner, all of my employees grew up in the Grove. What do they call
Grove Rats.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. So this is the rat.
The red pack.
Every one of them from the Grove. Y'all come on up.
The rat pack.
That's right.
Oh, somebody misses Sammy Davis Jr.
There you go.
He's on his way.
He's on the way. Okay.
Okay, someone's got to come forward. Come on,
Come on.
come on. The two of you can stand right there and hold up that podium.
Y'all must be a bunch of
Bet you
fallen
can.
Baptists. Something. Maybe it's pushing to the back. We don't sit up there.
Now, most of you know I'm a man of few resolutions because I don't do quite as many as some people do up here, but
Commissioner Price.
that's right. But I do have 4 resolutions today, and it's very interesting because in my office, everyone in my office, with the exception of Audrey, and she's been with me for a little bit under a year, everyone in my office is retiring this year. So I'm going to read through here, and all total, there's going to be 146 years of tenure that's going to be leaving Dallas County. So I'm going to start with Mitch Lay. Whereas the Dallas County Commissioner Court recognizes and extends sincere appreciation to individuals who have given a long career of faithful service to Dallas County. And whereas Mitch Lay was raised in Dallas, where he graduated from W.W. Samuel High School and Eastville College. And whereas Mitch served in the United States Army for 2 years as a draftee and 1 tour of duty, he served as a scout dog handler. Thank you. Aiding in the detection of explosive devices during the Vietnam War, and whereas Mitch worked in the private sector for 26 years with AT&T, Dow Chemical, and Panja. And, I think that's correct, and whereas Mitch began his Dallas County career 17 years ago this month working on the Road and Bridge District 2 crew, he then transferred to the Automotive Service Center during the reorganization for the district. In 2008, he was selected by myself to serve as a project coordinator for the Road and Bridge office, where he has earned the admiration and trust of the constituents and fellow county department employees. As a matter of fact, he's known as the constituent whisperer out in my district. And whereas as project coordinator, Mitch's daily goal is to prevent the phone from ringing with constituent issues. This is a true statement to his proactive approach to his job and service area. He is known for his attention to detail, approachable and relatable nature, customer-oriented attitude, and a strong work ethic. He has consistently responded to concerns with speed and resourcefulness. It is not unusual to see him working on the weekends or his days off, and he has been an invaluable team member of the Road and Bridge office. And whereas Mitch, husband of Holly, is the proud father to son Chris Lay, and grandfather to Dylan, Callie, and Landry, and step-grandfather to Haley and Heidi. He is a man of many talents and few words, and upon his retirement on December 31st, he plans to spend his time enjoying his grandchildren and working on his farm. I can relate to that. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Mitch Lay for his leadership, commitment, and dedication to Dallas County, and further wishes his continued happiness in his retirement. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
On behalf of their grateful county, we want you to never forget Commissioner District 2.
Oh, I love it.
What I want you to understand is that you're now leaving.
That's very nice. Do you want to say anything, Mitch?
No, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
I told him nobody had to say anything. Christy wants to dance, so I'm going to let her dance, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Phyllis Vermillion. Phyllis, come on up. Whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court recognizes and extends sincere appreciation to individuals who have given a long career of faithful service to Dallas County. And whereas Phyllis was born in Dallas, Texas, and is a graduate of H. Grady Spruce High School. And whereas Phyllis began her career with Dallas County in 1975 in the Dallas Tax Office. She then served as a court clerk for Justice of the Peace Jack Richburg. After 8 years of working at the county, she took time to travel with her husband, but returned to the county in 1992, and she worked for several departments, including Justice of the Peace with Judges Ken Blackington and Wilma Cawthorn, and later with Constable Mike Gothard's office. And whereas in 2002, Phyllis was handpicked by myself to be the chief clerk of the then JP Central Collections in the North Dallas Government Center, which she describes as her biggest accomplishment at the county. She helped create the program from scratch, supervised and managed 18 clerks, and ran the department like clockwork, where she strove to keep all of the judges satisfied, which was not an easy job. And whereas in 2008, Phyllis transitioned to Commissioner Maureen Dickey's office, where she served as an administrative assistant. She worked closely with constituents, provided staff support for the North Texas Clean Air Task Force, organized special events, and briefed the court agenda for the commissioner. In 2012, once again, she was handpicked by myself to be our senior secretary, then later office manager. Whereas Phyllis, the saint of the office, is known for her bubbly personality, eagerness to assist, and her comforting demeanor. Her decisions are based on faith in God and made through prayer. And whereas Phyllis is the wife to Jimmy Vermillion, who is a new employee with Dallas County, proud mother of Lana Sherman, and grandmother to Bella and Piper, with whom she enjoys taking walks and playing. And whereas Phyllis plans to retire on December 31st and will continue with her love of reading, working part-time at her church, and volunteering with animals. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Phyllis Vermillion for her leadership, commitment, and dedication to Dallas County, and further wishes her continued happiness in her retirement. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Now you're finally leaving.
I've done it 2 other times, but this is it. Thank you.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Phyllis, do you want to say anything? Okay. And
I'm just very thankful for the opportunity. I have left the county 2 other times, but realized this is the place I needed to be, and came back finally and spent many years in enjoying time. Sometimes was very difficult, but the Lord gave me my retirement job with Mike. He's been involved in my life, and he's a wonderful man of God too. And I'm just thankful to be finishing it all up with you.
Well,
and these wonderful people.
thank you for the job that you've done, not only at my office, but centralized collections was unbelievable what you did
Long
there.
history has
So
been-
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Christy Payton. Okay. Now, if y'all had any relatives here, family, do y'all want to introduce anybody? Jimmy? Okay. All right.
Y'all get to know very well soon.
That's right. All right. Whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court recognizes and extends sincere appreciation to individuals who have given a long career of faithful service to Dallas County. And whereas Christy Payton was born in Casa Grande, Arizona, and raised in Texas, as a graduate of North Mesquite High School, she went on to earn an Associate of Applied Science in Criminal Justice at Eastfield College, where she was a member of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. She is a tribal member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And whereas Christy began her career working at the Justice of the Peace Court for myself in 1989, being known as the favorite clerk, she consistently performed above and beyond and was recognized as Employee of the Year. And whereas in 1995, Christy was promoted and served as bookkeeper for Judge John Sholden after I was elected commissioner. And whereas after realizing 6 months later that that the Commissioner and Tracy couldn't live without her, Christy was asked to join them at the Commissioner's office. She has continuously served in the Dallas County Commissioner District 2 office in positions with increasing leadership responsibilities, including Senior Secretary, Office Manager, Executive Assistant, where she now currently serves. And whereas as Executive Assistant, Christy has staffed myself on a variety of projects, including the specialized truancy courts, IT projects, including TechShare, and she was specifically tasked with handling constituent concerns and issues and needs in regards to Parkland Hospital. And whereas Christy has earned the admiration and respect of many of her Dallas County colleagues for her off-the-charts work ethic, knowledge, dedication, honesty, and sense of humor. And whereas Christy is the proud mother of 2 sons, Colin and Jordan, and grandmother to Haley and Adelaide, with whom she enjoys spending time and watching grow. And whereas Christy, a modest workhorse, plans to take a 6-month break upon retirement to reassess what she wants to do when she grows up. Now you have to understand, she's probably one of the youngest. She started at 18. She's retiring at 48. Wow. So that's incredibly young to be retiring after 30 years. I should have said you started when you were 12. Yeah. During that time, let's see, she will also spend time traveling, spending time with her granddaughters, gardening, and completing home renovations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Christy Payton for her leadership, commitment, and dedication to Dallas County, and further wishes her continued happiness in her retirement. And so moved.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion
I promise, I do have a little more percentage than the infamous Pocahontas.
They pay for everything she needs, let me tell you.
We constantly have that debate.
I hear you.
Goodness, Christy, we want to
We'll
put
see
it
the
right.
dance. Oh, I thought you wanted to see the
Yes,
dance.
I will send you my degree. I want to thank you for the dark.
That's
No,
because the
thank you.
pictures
This is
on
an
it.
awesome honor. And thank you, Mike.
And you want to, okay. You want to introduce your son? Jordan?
Yes, this is Jordan.
Thank y'all very much for having her for so long.
Absolutely.
I know she's made an impact in all of y'all's lives and workforce as far as the county goes. And it's been a long ride. It's not over yet. Just going to take a little time off and figure out what she wants to do with her life.
Absolutely.
And keep on going. So
That's
thank
right.
y'all very much, guys.
Okay. So, Christy, you've been with me 29 years?
It'll be 30 years
30
in
years.
January.
In January. 30 years. That's incredible.
Yes, it
Okay.
Okay.
So, Tracy, you're next. So, the last member of the Rat Pack. Okay. Whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court recognizes and extends sincere appreciation to individuals who have given a long and faithful service to Dallas County, and whereas Tracy Enna is a proud Dallas native, she attended Lakeview Centennial High School in Garland and began her career before graduating at the age of 17 with me in my law practice. Actually, my wife, which is here, went to the school and hired her at age 17 to work in my law practice. Whereas fortunately for Tracy, then I offered her a job as chief clerk in 1987 when I took the office as Justice of the Peace. And she also went with me once I became commissioner as executive assistant in 1995. She has spent the last 24 years working on a variety of projects such as the specialized truancy courts, the protective rapid response team, as well as representing the commissioner on state, regional, county, and city transportation-related projects. And whereas a few highlights of Tracy's career includes coordinating leadership classes for the various Chamber of Commerce organizations, as well as the Dallas County Adoption Day annual event. And I did see Kathleen Duvall from CASA, yes, as well as the Dallas County Adoption Day annual event since its inception in 2000, which has now been turned over to Commissioner. Oh, you all do a great job. And whereas Tracy has earned the respect of many of her Dallas County colleagues for her organization, resourcefulness, broad knowledge base, strong work ethic, and her great attitude. She is known in the office as the social butterfly due to her outgoing nature and is great at diffusing conflict. Her thorough understanding of the county's policies and operations makes her an invaluable asset to the District 2 team and a resource for other county employees. Whereas Tracy, a woman of many words, will retire from the county. You gotta let that sink in, yeah. Will retire from the county on December 31st, but does not plan to take any time off as she heads into the private sector to begin the next chapter. She has been married to Gary, which is here, for 28 years and is a proud mother of her son, Reed, and he's here. He's a recent graduate of the University of Texas at Arlington, and daughter Casey, a student at Texas Tech University with not much longer to go, and she will spend her leisure time cooking and watching her favorite TV shows on the Food TV network. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Tracy Ennett for her leadership, commitment, and dedication to Dallas County, and further wishes her continued happiness in her next career. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
They're tears of happiness.
If you'd left my picture off, they'd been a lot happier.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you. A real rat? Is that what you got?
Okay, so Tracy, do you want to say anything?
Well, the last time I stood at this podium was when Commissioner Jackson was here, was before you, when you were just of the peace. And I was asking for a metal detector for the JP court, and I was told no. That was very humbling. I left with my tail between my legs and walked out. But
Well,
no.
we're going to get a picture, but I just want to say, you know, I've had what I felt like a very successful career because of them. So thank you.
Thank you.
And this is Audrey. She's our other individual. She did the resolution.
It's already the last man.
That's right. That's right.
The last woman standing.
That's right.
That's it.
Tracy.
Lori, you want in the picture?
Oh, no, she's
Lori doesn't want in the picture?
No, not right now. We got her.
Do it again.
I think Chris is going to dance for us now. All right. Thank you.
While you're all leaving here, I just wanted to say thank you to the staff of Mike Cantrell, because without a lot of the assistance from them, life would have been a lot harder for me learning about transportation and IT, because Districts 1 and 2 work together quite closely just because geographically that's the way it is. But it is his staff that was able to pass along a lot of information, and with the leadership of Mike Cantrell, it made the transition for me coming in as the new commissioner in District 1 to I think, carry on those good things that he had begun, and to help all of Dallas County by hiring good folks from the beginning and helping out. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're very kind, and I see Kelly Blankenship. Kelly was, she worked for me, and she started off her IT stuff and just did a fantastic job, and thank you for coming, Kelly. And her son, Blake.
Commissioner Price has some some resolutions.
Oh, I have one more.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
This is, let's see. It's a resolution for Brenda Barron She works at the JP's office in Garland, and she's going to be retiring at the end of the year, and it's going to be presented to her at a later time, so I'll move its approval.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Something for Commissioner Cantrell, Judge.
Uh-oh, okay.
Okay, oh, we wait? Okay, so we wait?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's just. Okay.
Yes, Commissioner Price.
I second.
Commissioner Price,
I pressed it.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Judge and Commissioners, if you'll give me just a point of privilege here. First, I'm going to ask Ross Connor to come down, along with that R&B delegation. Just that you can just stand up. Come on down, Roger, and the delegation. I don't know who's taking care of Southeast Dallas County.
It runs by itself, come on.
Whereas Dallas County is fortunate to have in its foundation a number of employees who are long-term contributors, who make a significant impact on our ability to serve the citizens of Dallas County. And whereas Dallas County Road and Bridge District 3 is led by one such example in the person and professionalism of its longtime superintendent, Mr. Roger Miller, who began his service on September the 1st, 1977.
Wow.
With 41 years of service, is among the top 5 of the active seniority list on Dallas County. And whereas Roger Miller is a proud grandfather and mentor to an outstanding athlete who has proven his mettle as a bull rider and has risen to the rank among the top of the youth bull riders in Texas and across the nation. And whereas 16-year-old Ross Connor has accomplished the following feats since he began competing as a 13-year-old in 2015. He was the Lone Star High School Rodeo Association 2016 season champion junior bull rider. He was the Texas Junior Bull Riding Association 2017 season champion mini bull rider. He was the Texas Junior Bull Riding Association 2017 state finals champion mini bull rider. He was the Texas Junior Bull Riding Association 2018 season champion junior bull rider with a 500-point lead. He is the Texas Junior Bull Riding Association 2018 state final reserve champion junior bull rider. He is the Texas Junior Bull Riding Association 2018 world final junior bulls third place, and he pulled a growing muscle is the only reason he didn't win it. And then he's a National Junior Bull Riding Association 2018 National Final Reserve Champion Junior Bull Rider. And whereas Ross Connor, as of December 2018, has amassed 59 buckles, 3 saddles, 2 top money winner trophies, and is poised to add those titles to the 2019 season gets underway. Therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Judge and Commissioners Court, along with parents and grandparents and a host of family members, friends, and fellow rodeo athletes, do hereby congratulate Ross Connor on the successful 2018 season, and be it further resolved that the work ethic and determination that we have seen in Ross since he has been old enough to work with his grandfather be an example for others of all ages who are aspiring to be the best they can be. And I so move.
Second.
All right. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Ross, you got anything you want to say? Because Mr. Cantrell, I know you was up there trading story. He said, he was trying to tell you he was once a bull rider, didn't he? Didn't he say that?
Well, you know, when you talk about junior bulls, that is so misleading because those are big bulls. So when they say junior, don't believe anything about that.
Ross, you got anything you want to say?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Person of few words.
Let me go there, and the red delegation just stay right there. Now the rest of y'all stay right there, because you got What's the weight of a junior bull anyway?
12 to 1800.
Yeah.
Ooh. So it's not the bull that's junior.
No, trust me.
So, Commissioner, after all these retirements, you're number one now?
Yeah.
Are the rest going to come up?
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure to you.
Congratulations, and thank you very much for all you do inside and out.
The next one is a long-tenured employee who we're going to miss. Whereas Dallas County has a long and rich history of exemplary employees who soar above and stretch beyond the call of duty for the sake of our citizens and our communities. And whereas Andre Truitt is a native Texas born in Dallas who graduated from Bishop Don High School and came to Dallas County after managing the Hutchins Water Department for a number of years. And whereas Andre's first assignment with Dallas County commenced in February 26, 2004, in Dallas County Road and Bridge District 3 as an equipment operator 1. And in February 2004, and even as a self-taught mechanic, progressed to construction equipment mechanic and served as a lead mechanic and a mentor to the department. And whereas Andre is married to his soulmate and fellow laborer in work of St. John Church in Terrell, Texas, and share a love for camping, gardening, fishing, and refurbishing their home. And whereas Andre is well loved and well respected, and says that he is blessed, so blessed, to be employed by Dallas County under the leadership
Yeah, under your leadership.
Yeah, okay. Therefore, be it resolved that Dallas County Judge and the Commissioner's Court do hereby, and with a great sense of resolve, convey its best wishes to a dedicated employee, Andre Truitt, upon the announcement of his retirement on December 31st, 2018, and be it further resolved that his daily example of a committed work ethic, a can-do attitude, and a genuine love for all people will be sorely missed, but never forgotten by his Superintendent Roger Miller and the men and women who call Dallas County Road and Bridge District 3 your home away from home. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Got it?
Blessing, Commissioner Price, to work for you and my fellow employees. It's been great. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Come on, guys. Y'all, come on.
Yeah.
We about to prove that. That's the way we roll. That's right. We've been getting Oh, wow.
My God. How are you doing?
We're going to put that out there that he has never, ever called in sick. And he lost more vacation then he's taken. Wow.
That's unreal.
Oh, okay. Bless you.
Come on, we do need
Patrice,
a lady
office
here.
managers, what's wrong
We
with y'all?
do need a lady here.
No, I got office managers and Miss Pam, all of them. She's a parts manager. Yeah, y'all come back up here. Yeah, come on back up here. Bless you. Yeah, some of y'all come back up here.
Stand up here with me. You move those seats back.
Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? It's so good to see you here. Come on down. Come on, Miss Stephanie. Dr. Garcia's not going to buy it. I'm not buying it. She's not going to buy it.
As you now enter Hutchins, this is the picture you will see hanging over the bridge.
Well, actually, there's a lot of pictures hanging a lot of places that nobody knows.
That's right.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Excellent.
Got it.
How y'all doing, man? Good to see you. Excellent. Keep it up.
All dressed up today, too. Thanks, guys. We got a uniform. Sorry. Thanks for coming.
That's road crew. Yeah. All road crew.
Commissioner, that's a road crew.
Oh, yeah. They
Yeah.
are. Yes.
He has the most.
We got,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
got 121 miles.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
mine is a lot smaller. I know. They just.
And I'm going to ask Judge Nancy Mulder and, excuse me, Marcia Waters to come forward in that delegation. Y'all even got Miss Pat to come with you?
Elise, you too.
You came off of a cruise to be here, didn't she?
Well, this resolution today is to honor the service of Mrs. Marcia Elaine Waters, who is retiring after 34 years with Dallas County. Marcia was born in Gary, Indiana, one of 9 children born to Sarah and David Chambers. After graduating high school, Marcia moved to Dallas in 1982 and began her work at Dallas County District Clerk's Office in 1984. And whereas after 19 and a half years with the district clerk, Marcia became the court coordinator for the 282nd Judicial District Court, working with Judge Karen Green. She then became the court coordinator for Judge Larry Mitchell, who presided over the 292nd Judicial District Court for 2 terms. Marcia then became the court coordinator for Judge Nancy Mulder in County Criminal Court Number 4. And whereas in 2000, Marcia was awarded the District Clerk Employee of the Quarter Award. Then in 2008, while working in the 292nd Judicial District Court, she was awarded the Most Outstanding District Court Coordinator Award by the Dallas County Criminal Defense Lawyers Association. And whereas from 1997 to 2018, while a chief clerk and later as a court coordinator, Marcia has worked with the Dallas Independent School District, Judge Barefoot Sanders Law Magnet High School at Yvonne A. Ewell Townview Center, mentoring high school students who intern with her every semester, every year at the Frank Crowley Courthouse for 21 years. And whereas, during her service to Dallas County, she married Selwyn Waters for 21 years, and they raised 2 sons, Demont and Selwyn, and has a granddaughter, Kiara. And whereas Marcia Elaine Waters is dedicated, hardworking, kind, and overall outstanding court coordinator and former clerk who has given so many wonderful years of service to Dallas County, she will be remembered and honored as an exceptional employee and friend to all who were fortunate enough to work with her. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and extend sincere appreciation to Marcia Elaine Waters for 34 years of faithful service and further expresses best wishes on this her retirement. And I so move.
And I second, and thank you.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Judge?
I just want to say a few words. I think it's important to note, it's been such a privilege to know Marcia my entire legal career at Frank Crowley Courthouse, almost 25 years. And I think it's a testament to Marcia's kindness, hard work, and dedication that last Thursday at her retirement luncheon, we had 100 people at the Frank Crowley Courts building come in to wish her well. She is also someone who is leaving the county and giving back time. She never took vacations at all. She came to work sick, in pain, and now it's time for her. Now it's time for her to put up her feet, and it's been a tremendous honor, Marcia. Thank you for everything.
I'd like to thank the Commissioner, Judge Mulder, Pat Johnson, Court Administrator, and the County Court for staff. I could not have done my job without them. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
You know what, and last week I had the occasion to go to Judge Ingrid Warren's court. You know, this 34 and 35-year thing around the county is a lot more of a footprint than you realize. And I just want to thank you very much for that kind of service.
You come over here, we're all lopsided. Have them over here, kids.
I want to congratulate Judge Mulder in our jail population meeting. You were number one.
Continues to produce.
Thank you so much for honoring such a tremendous legend at our courthouse.
We just want you to know, we know you missed it. You were on vacation. I know. We didn't expect you to come back.
She's on a cruise. We're lucky she's here at all.
And Judge Mulder, thank you so much for your leadership as well. Very appreciated.
And the next resolution, Judge, Commissioner, is Alberta Blair. Only if your name is Alberta Blair.
Am I retiring?
This is my retirement too. I told you I was retiring. I'll go with you. I just go with you.
We have to go together.
You want me to go into an attack or what?
It's the green jacket. You should have worn a green jacket.
Whereas Alberta joined Dallas County Public Works on September the 7th, 1993, and served in various prior capacities, including a prior assignment as Assistant Director of Engineering and Construction, where she led the Engineering and Construction Division in excess of 15 years. In that capacity, she was responsible for the design, engineering, and construction of approved transportation projects under both the 1991 bond and major capital improvement program. And whereas Alberta was promoted to the position of Public Works Director November 2010, and whereas the Public Works Department is made up of 4 units: transportation planning, engineering, construction, including design, program engineering and management, our financial arm, and property, including right-of-way acquisition and utilities division, which Alberta is a proud manager, coupled with the assistance of our 4 assistant directors. And whereas projects within her purview were completed in coordination with the planning, right-of-way acquisition, including utilities, and collaboration in line with the county's 5-phase project delivery system, Alberta also provided engineering support to the county's road and bridge districts, which included unincorporated areas, orphan roads, and other county departments. And whereas, prior to joining Dallas County, Alberta worked for the city of Dallas as a project manager for 7 years. In that capacity, she served as part of the Central Dallas Business District, which included pivotal landmark projects such as Streets for the Arts District, McKinney Avenue Trolley, and Farmers Market. Alberta also served as a project manager over the initial tax increment finance district for the historical St. Thomas area. And whereas Alberta is a native of Dallas, a graduate of Ursuline Academy of Dallas, she received dual Bachelor of Science degrees in environmental design and civil engineering from the prestigious Texas A&M University. Alberta is a proud mother of Cedric Blair Robinson, who also attends Texas A&M University. She is an active member of the Concord Baptist Church, where she has served in several leadership roles, including children's ministries and biblical study. And whereas Alberta is a licensed professional engineer, therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize, extend sincere appreciation to Alberta Blair for 25 years of faithful service and dedication as a public service on this her retirement. I just threw the retirement in. I so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you so very much. Short words.
Thank you. This is your 25-year pin.
Yeah.
And we promised we will work in something better than a pin after 25 years, but still don't have enough money. Well, I was shocked when I hear the word retirement. I said, what?
Aren't you telling us now?
Oh, she's not.
Oh, sweetheart.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Ms. Blair.
Thank you.
Please stand us for another 10.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Alberta.
thank you. Okay. And my last resolution.
I can still be your commissioner control.
Yeah, I did.
What other surprises do we have there?
I'm surprised. Is that Gomer Powell? Okay. And the last resolution is for our colleague, Commissioner Mike Cantrell. Whereas on November the 8th, 1994, after having first been a justice of the peace for 8 years, Mike Cantrell was elected to the Dallas County Commissioners Court as the Commissioner for District 2. And whereas for the next 24 years he continued to serve Dallas County with impeccable integrity, fairness, and a commitment whose only desire was to do what was best for the county. And whereas consistent with the belief to do what is best for Mike Cantrell, there were no solutions that there were Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative. There were only those solutions that were correct. And whereas during his tenure on the Commissioner's Court, he led efforts to improve the county's truancy system and to automate its criminal justice information system. He worked to increase transportation funding for the area. He played a key role in creating a strong financial position that Dallas County presently possesses. And whereas wherever he went, and regardless of the issue, his leadership skills were quickly apparent to all who met him, as evidenced by him formerly being the chairman of the Regional Transportation Council, the chairman of the North Central Texas Council of Governments, chairman of the Conference of Urban County, and president of the Garland Rotary Club, just to name a few. And whereas at all times, his selfish devotion, his modesty, and his dedication, and the worst epithet that he could find in his vocabulary is Jimmy the Cricket. I got some others I'm going to hit him with. Provided the Commissioner's Court and county staff with a strong foundation and a sense of unwavering stability, and set the standard for all of us to aspire. And whereas on December the 31st, 2018, Mike Cantrell will retire from the Dallas County Commissioners Court, and whereas although his 24-year tenure as the Commissioner of District 2 makes him the longest-serving District 2 Commissioner in Dallas County history, it is still not really long enough. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Dallas County Commissioner Court gratefully extends its sincere appreciation and deepest affection to Mike Cantrell for 32 years of service to Dallas County and for showing what it is to be a true public service. And I finished.
You so move.
I'm going to do a friendly Dickey amendment. And be it further resolved that as a sign of respect and admiration for what he has meant to and built for Dallas County, the new North Dallas Government Center at 6820 LBJ Freeway shall henceforth be forever known as the Mike Cantrell Government Center.
Friendly amendment as well.
Yeah, friendly amendment
All
as
right.
well.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
You're going to have a lot of people who don't want to come to that building now.
We will promise you that it looks as close to that as possible, Commissioner.
Well, you know, one of the things, Commissioner, and I got, you know, a few other things I really wanted to say, y'all bring them up here so we can see them. I just want to thank my colleagues because this was all of us as a collective. I want to thank staff. You know, you don't recognize sometimes what we have to go through just to get zoning and get these buildings
Permits and stuff.
Yeah, permitted and erected. And we just want to say thank you for 30-something years of service. I saw Jim Jackson here, and I saw Alan Clemson. He's more than a courtroom. There he is, Alan Clemson, the former court administrator here, and to Laura, his wife. Come on up. This is now y'all's time. Come on. Married 44 years. All of his family.
Yeah.
Come forward. 44 years of marriage. Got his daughter and all here.
Mother.
You know, there's a piece in Proverbs that talks about if you want to be a friend. I think it's Proverbs 18 and 24. I know y'all don't think I read. But it says
only the Bible.
Yeah, only the Bible. That's all I need to read. But anyway, it says if you want to be a friend, you must first show yourself friendly. But also in the book of Matthew, it talks about let your yea be yea and let your nay be nay. And as my mother used to say, anything else is a device of the devil. And one thing you can always appreciate about Commissioner Cantrell, when he said yea, it was yea, and when he said nay, it was nay. It was nay. There are people that said that he was a rhino. For those of y'all who don't understand political jargon, they could say he was a rhino in name only. But to us, he was the voice of reason and sanity. And especially in light of what we see now on the national landscape.
And local landscape.
Yeah, local landscape, okay. But integrity. He was Mr. Integrity. I see people have joined us from Austin, John, Day Hill, Conference of Urban County. We're glad to see all of y'all come in today. But, you know, Commissioner Cantrell, while we take him kind of for granted here, he's known around the state. He has been the real innovator. When you see all of these programs that we have leveraged and taken advantage of around the state, he was the designer. He was the individual. And so we just want to say, I mean, I was going to go into a lot of reading and all, but he's just a great guy. He's a reasoned individual, and I can't say enough about it. I'm going to miss him. All of this court is going to miss him. And Judge Jenkins wanted to say something, but he's tied to him right now, so I'm gonna say it for him.
You took all the words.
I took all the words. Okay. But anyway, I just want to say thank you, Commissioner, from a very grateful county. And you, like I said, you've just been the voice of reason. And so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the model that you are.
Thank you.
You know, congratulations to your family, Ms. Cantrell. I don't know what you're going to do with him for 24 hours. I would recommend that you travel all the time. And Commissioner, you're going to be missed, like I said before, I mean, for your, you know, not only being a great person, but being a smart, great person. And always do what it was the right for Dallas County, regardless of party or politics. You were always respectful to all of us, and that will always be recognized. And Commissioner Price has another sign for you, obviously.
There's a lot of people waiting to see that sign.
And on behalf of all of us, I also have something for you. I hope that, you know, with all the stuff that you have, this is a picture of today. And that's what we were paparazzing you around all morning. Sorry about that. You know, and it basically says, you know, that with all the respect of your 5 colleagues, you know, and you represented District 2 from 1995 to 2018.
Thank you.
He knows what he looks like. He wants a picture of us.
I debated that, and I decided that he probably wanted only himself.
Maybe not.
I've got another dartboard for you. Well, thank y'all very much. You know, I've been so blessed. You know, the Lord's blessed me with a great family. That's my mother, my daughter, and my wife. A great staff. All the staff, previous staff and current staff, former staff. You know, I see Maria in the back here too. I've just been so blessed to to serve on courts with people that care, people that work, and make things happen. It's been a great ride for me. I've really, really enjoyed it, and this is such an honor. I don't know how John Ames is going to go into that building every day seeing my name. Sorry, John. You need to let him have a parking place in the back. But it's been an honor to serve the constituents of Dallas County. It's been an honor to serve with all the staff members here, with all the community partners that we've been partners with, and it's such an honor to serve with all of y'all. So thank y'all very much.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
First court in January, sign him up to speak.
No, I'm making a resolution here in just a minute. We're going to go back to every week, and some weeks we're going to do 2 times a week.
For 30 minutes each.
30 minutes each.
Commissioner, I want to trivia on this building. Commissioner Cantrell actually was involved in the construction of this building when it was first erected.
Well, my father-in-law, he worked on it.
Yeah, but
I didn't know that.
I thought
Yeah,
you worked,
well,
you worked for your father-in-law, didn't you?
I did. He put me outside with mixing mortar and hauling in bricks. So
I'll be darned.
he knew what my talents were, let me tell you.
A very special place in your
That's
heart,
right.
though.
That's right.
Yeah.
The name belongs there.
Yes, that's a great building, and it's going to serve Dallas County well for many years to come. So,
Wow, I didn't know that. Maybe a point. Excellent to
Well, I'm not sure who I'm going to call now. Maybe I'll still call you.
I hope so.
We will put his number underneath.
I do that
Yeah, I'll be changing that number.
Thanks
Oh, no,
again.
you can-
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank
Beautiful night.
Okay, guys.
Oh, you are fast.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Miss Abney. That's good.
Okay, yeah, she.
I have to get shot too, I forgot.
He will look like an angel.
I was getting all left.
Absolutely. Beautiful, yes. Sitting there.
Thank you.
So we're not able to meet at those dinners anymore.
Yeah, who's going to make us the best cookies?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let the sheriff come down and just make a comment real quick.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Sheriff, okay.
Yes, Sheriff, please come forward.
On the presentation, on the judicial management, I at least want you to comment with regards to the jail, and where we are. I noticed that Executive Director Brandon Woods issued a statement, and so I'd ask you to respond, please, ma'am.
Okay, Commissioner, to this court, I wanted to respond this morning to an article that was printed in the Dallas Morning News that said that the county jail had failed a state inspection. So I wanted to correct that statement. The inspection to which the article refers is actually a review of video from one area in one facility. It is not an inspection of our jail as a whole. A review is normal when we have an unusual circumstance to occur, as in this instance there was a death in custody. It is not unusual for us to report. It is a requirement. We did that. It is not unusual for it to be reviewed by the jail commission. During my review, deficiencies were noted, a plan of correction was submitted to the commission, and that plan of correction was actually executed and placed us back into compliance with the state commission. Again, we did not fail our state inspection as reported by the Dallas Morning News. That is an inaccurate statement. We are not without certification. At no time have we been without certification. Our annual inspection has yet to occur. So I wanted to take a moment to address that this morning because it came out in the paper this morning.
Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not only that, my colleagues and I, we were cognizant at all times as to where we were. Mr. Reed had told us that this had come before the commission, but at that time that he notified us, the sheriff already had a plan of action and what I call addressing a reculturization in that jail. And so it was already in progress, and she's dealing with it as we go forward. So,
Sheriff, however, I would like to say that I'm glad that there's a plan of action, but when something like this happens, I will recommend that it comes to the, jail sanitation or jail pub, that this information is distributed to the other commissioners, because when we're asked about this, there's nothing worse than not knowing what people are talking about.
Of course.
And the other issue that I would like to mention that after reading the article is that when employees are not following guidelines of checking, doing their job that is required by law, that is something that should not happen in our jails.
Well,
we know all the occurrences that we have in the Dallas County Jail, and it's important that first and foremost, our employees know that falsifying and not doing their job is not acceptable. And I expect this to be corrected, and the people that did not do their job be reprimanded at the level that they deserve.
I fully agree, Commissioner, and as Commissioner Price has stated, we were already in the process of addressing the issues that needed to be addressed. And while it is not something that we are happy to have happen, it is something that has happened, and it is, in a sense, a learning process for us to know that these things are occurring. It lets us know what areas we need to address. And so all of that you have stated has already been addressed. It's already been taken care of.
But Sheriff, but I want you to, and while you're being kind, the fact of the matter is that she is in a reorganization format because there is a culture of being lackadaisical. I used to say tongue-in-cheek about whether or not the rounds, and that's what we're basically talking about, the rounds were being done as stated. When I look at a certain tower and I see every 30 minutes or I see 30,000 rounds, this department has always disciplined officers who have not made those rounds as described in their general order. The travesty of this is that she has inherited a culture whereby a number of individuals found themselves subscribing to that culture. Before Mr. Reed brought it back from the Texas Commission on Jail Standards, it was already in play. They were already in IAD, and they are continuing to send that message. And so I applaud it. They did not wait for the jail commission to do it. We're already there. And what happened with the reinspection is when they pull the cameras and they pull the round books, then the department became vindicated.
I would like to follow up with what Commissioner Garcia said, that obviously when there are things that are not right, practices that are not right, that they should be attended to. what is the degree of leadership and capacity of the whole team at the jail. It's what do you do when you find that there are issues that
Of course.
should be tended to.
Right.
And what I
And that is that-
Communicated from all, to all the members of
It's
the
not
court.
only the fact that a lot of the steps were already in motion to address the culture and the very specific details of the lapse. But the point of it is, what do you do? How do you react? How do you stand up? How quickly you were able to get in there and make sure that, first of all, it's taken care of, second of all, that it is avoided, that it will not happen again.
Right.
So those are the true steps, and I know that your vigilance on some of the comments
Well,
that
but
Commissioner
when you
Garcia
got
made are there.
the sheriff's department has 2,500 employees, 1,450 of them are detention service officers on a 1:48 ratio. When this is a 24/7 operation, I sat there last night and went through this for hours with them. It wasn't the jail commission that caught them. I keep saying that she already did that. Now, no, she did not send out, a broadcast that, and I hear what you're saying. One of the things we're trying not to do is bring attention before she had fashioned a solution to do it. Let me just also say, employees have a tendency, and that's the reason to talk about, I'm not going to say sick out or staying together, because more employees are in IAD now than in the history of this department from the detention side of the aisle. Because she basically said, no nonsense. You falsified the books, you didn't do it, you will wind up in IAD. That's what Ms. all of those folks this morning, that whole group. And she has changed some of the individuals there. So it's a lot of changes that are going on. While we have been in compliance for a number of years, there is still a culture over there of lethargicness, and she is dealing with it.
And Commissioner, with all due respect to you and the sheriff, because I know you are one of the best when it comes to the data that you analyze, and the sheriff is a very capable lady that just got a job. But 2,500 employees, that's why we sign up. That's why 9,000 employees in Dallas County, that's the job we sign up to do. And regardless of the culture, okay, we have the right word is the commitment, to do what is right, to do what it needs to be done immediately. And when things like this happen, I am sorry if it's not going to look good. People need to know. I do not like to be told something that I did not know when I rely in the people around me to fix the problems. I have talked to the sheriff numerous times about cameras, right, Sheriff? About whatever you need, Sheriff, to change the culture, whatever you need to make it right for anyone that is in our county jails has to happen. To find out this, from another source, and then say, well, we had a bad culture in the system. For me, there's no excuses. When we
With all due respect, I stand here today making no excuses. What I stand here today is to tell you what is fact. And with all due respect, Dr. Garcia, I was already on the process before anybody here at Dallas County knew. We were already working it out. We had already implemented a plan, not just said, here's what we're going to do. We had already implemented the plan. And so, because we are such a large organization, it takes time. And saying, well, we have to address a culture is in no way an excuse for me. I know what I was taking on. I had been here 3.5 years before I was even appointed, let alone elected to be the sheriff. So I knew what I was taking on, and I was committed to it then, and I'm committed to it now. And so when things happen, you're right, it's our responsibility to immediately take action, which is exactly what we did. I simply wanted to go on the record this morning saying that what Dallas Morning News has printed in the paper is inaccurate information. The end.
And I think that's very, laudable, and I applaud you for that. But I also want you to know, Sheriff, that next time it happens, after you have the plan, you communicate it to the Commissioner's Court. That's my position.
Well,
Thank you so much, Sheriff, for coming forward. We appreciate you clarifying the record.
yeah, and I thought she needed the opportunity to clarify the record, because we got it, and I think I handed it off to you yesterday, Ryan. We just got it. So we just got it from Texas Commission on Jail Standard, and how they got it wrong, which ain't new.
Yeah.
They had it wrong. So
Thank you, and thank you, Dr.
Sheriff.
Garcia.
Thank you,
Commissioner
thank you,
Price.
thank you. Okay.
All right, now we've got the consent agenda. Let's move on.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Personnel out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
With
And-
personnel out due to lack of diversity in the Sheriff Department.
All right,
Well,
this is,
we can do the like diversity. Where's that?
Yeah.
Oh, Doctor, you sent me the deal. The Sheriff's Department reflects what is throughout the county, basically. It's my understanding with regards to the employee. Next time we deal with personnel, I'm going to break it down. Since we keep talking about lack of diversity, I'm going to break it down for the court, and I'm going to put it out.
Yeah, please do, because, according to what we see, we have grown, in diversity very little in the last 10 years, especially when we talk about, Latino representation.
Not true.
So,
okay.
with that being said, I look forward to see that breaking.
Yeah, okay.
so we have, this is the consent agenda, absent personnel. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Move personnel.
Motion carries unanimously.
Second.
Move personnel.
I second it.
You gonna write that in later? Or how
Yeah,
you-
she'll have to write it in later.
you
Yeah.
write it in later?
No, yes, Commissioner Price moved, Commissioner Cantrell second.
Am I waiting on you, or you gonna write that in?
This
Okay.
is all this is.
Second was
Commissioner Cantrell?
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion
You need to
carries.
show the second is me, not Commissioner Garcia. She's voting no on it.
Yeah, no, in the second is Commissioner Cantrell.
Does
And
it
the
show
motion-
that?
Motion carried 4-1 with Garcia voting no. Okay. Next, we have bids. Is there a motion on
So
those?
moved.
Second. Commissioner Price.
Oh, yeah.
Done.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have court orders J1 through 47, addendums 48 through 43. Pulling.
You said J, I mean K. You said J.
Okay. Court orders K1 through 47, addendums 48 through 53, pulling item 15 off the agenda and pulling items 23 and 24 for a separate vote. Is there a motion?
Hold on. Okay.
So move.
Second.
Judge, I have a correction on item 4 before I see it.
Why are we pulling 15?
Yeah.
Staff said that.
Why?
There was a business associate agreement that needed to be executed.
The what?
A business associate agreement that needs to be going along with the agreement. So we are working that out with Prism Health.
Okay. Okay, does it impact, yeah, but whenever I see this kind of stuff, does it impact service delivery at all?
No, there is not.
Okay. Well, since you're doing that, I went through it and read it. Section D, under Section D, notice, point of contact.
Zach Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need,
So you already knew that.
right, we need to get those corrected, and I sent a letter out to that effect, several letters out to that effect to clarify that yesterday.
Okay, I got, okay, okay.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second. There may be discussion, but first, let me clean this up. Darrell, read 44 into the record.
Put it for the record, on page 4, items in red, the last paragraph should read, solicitation must be in writing and posted in accordance with section 6, it says section 7, I think it be removed to say section 6.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
So that's only the language change, right, Mr. Martin? So keeps going. Okay.
Budget, let me ask you, I sent you an email on that K1. Is that new? I mean, is it, I couldn't get
It's actually a continuation. We first received this in 2016, and this is allowing us to have one more year of funding. It's an attorney 5, it's their game attorney. So we've received this for a couple years now.
Okay. I couldn't, okay, gotcha. Okay, and I guess, let's see, 15. Okay, and we separated 22, 24. Okay.
Just one more thing, Ms. Blair, Mayor Capital Improvement Program. For the record, would you please, tell us exactly where we are, why this is important in Dallas County?
Yes, ma'am. We are in the process of trying to get ready for our 7th call for projects, and right now we are currently finishing up our mobility plan, and we also were briefing on the mobility study in our criteria. This coming up spring, we will provide that information to the court, and at that particular time move forth on our 7th call for projects. With that, we are also contacting each one of our cities to remind them that it is very important for us to either to go ahead and projects that are not currently funded at this time, that those projects will be put off or be basically, we will look at the criteria that comes up with the 7th call, and they will actually move forward to the 7th call. Subject to the criteria review. So what we're doing right now is completing what we have identified with our 6th call. So in other words, these are the projects that we'll move forth on trying to get complete and into construction in the next 2 years.
Hey, Daryl, can you come up for a second? Because I just looked at it, and here, come around so we can look at the same thing. I think it is section 7. Unless the Commissioners Court has the wrong one in their book. See, it's in writing over here, and it says 7. When you over here at 6 and 7, 6 is weekly notification, 7 is communication between vendors. So does the court not have the correct draft in the book?
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Barbara is the one that has submitted that change. Barbara looked at that change and submitted that.
Right. No.
This is the change.
Well, according to this, Russ.
It is.
It's already correct.
The change is already been made.
Yeah.
Okay. We had not been informed that they had made, we had discussed that change and did not know that the change had been made.
Does the DA not have, and I'm not critical of the DA on this, but does the DA not have the most recent version of this? I mean, are we not all working on the same version? I don't want to anymore.
Yes, we're working on the same version. It's when we had made a change, apparently the change had been made, and Ms. Nicholas.
Okay, so we don't need that we read in the record. Disregard that. We've already got the change in the document in front of you that you're voting on.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's just numerical. Between 6 and 7.
But it has.
It's 7 is what we have in the
7 is what
book.
we have.
Sometimes what happens is when they do the addendum and there's just a singular change like that, they'll reload that file, and that's probably what occurred at this particular point.
Who's going to check it out? I'm
I don't think so, though, because my
Russ will
book's
make
2
sure
weeks
that
old.
it's-
I'm confirming it right now.
Thank you, Mr. Roden. And
What else?
is that okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I just want to make sure we didn't read the wrong one in there.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got, guys?
Commissioner, do you have something else?
No, as we say, hell, we get the books, a week or 2 before, and then they review them, and then they go back and,
This is from the book, though, so something's, well, it doesn't matter because we caught it, but there's something disconnecting there.
Right. Well, and last but not least, guys, it's the last court of the year, and I just wanted to, again, give high kudos to the Dallas County Historical Commission, Mr. Losberg. I don't know if you're here or not. I can see you, but okay, there you are. I say many times that as someone that did not grow up in Dallas, is, always amazing to me to read all the articles that they publish. And some of them, it's always interesting, and people that I got to work and know now, like, my good friend Ann Williams with the Dallas Black Dance Theater. I thought I knew so much about her because I gave her recognitions in the past. And, here I am reading this, article, and it's, so much more that what I knew about her. I admire her dearly, and definitely, a great article. And of course, as the Sauer Cemetery in Irving, just had the opportunity to be with them. And the same thing happens. When I read this, I say, gosh, I wish I have knew all this before I did that presentation. So again, to our chair, Fred Durham, and all the members of the commission, thank you. I definitely put a link, in my Facebook. I find amazing stories about Little Egypt. This is another continuation of one we did in the past, and amazing as well. So thank you so much for all the work that they do in the Dallas County Historical Commission. It's amazing work. Thank you, Judge.
Any other comments on these court orders? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The first
Court order 23 is before.
I don't know where he...
So moved.
Second.
This is the one...
John Dayhill is here. John, could you come forward? Let me ask you a couple of questions for the record before we vote on this one.
Yeah, because when so I don't know what version. I got to get his copy.
Good morning.
Hey, John, Mr. Dayhill, good morning. So this court order is to start the LGC, correct? You may not know, but it is.
Yes, sir.
There have been some questions about the ability to do both financial audits and, system audits and, performance audits. Is it your representation that our ability to do that as a county has not changed or restricted in any way in switching to the LGC?
No, sir, absolutely not. In fact, so the LGC is a governmental entity under Texas law. It's subject to both the Open Meetings Act and the Open Records Act. So I don't think it changes the transparency we have, because at Urban Counties, we've always made our records available to you. In fact, Dallas conducted an audit of all the TextShare records just a couple of years ago. But the local government, and Urban Counties is not subject to the Open Records Act as a general rule. But the LGC is, and so anybody can get access to any of the records of the LGC.
Okay.
I'm sorry, continue. No, I'm sorry.
One other question for me. So we very much hope that that the projects that are currently not working will turn around and become functional projects. Unfortunately, it's a possibility, given all the delays and all of the problems, that they won't ultimately ever be delivered.
Wait. If a project is in process,
Okay.
I'm a little concerned about the language that you're using.
So, given the possibility of failure in this, are the rights of Dallas County in any way impaired or changed by switching to the governance structure to the LGC?
No, sir.
What's the purpose of the LGC? Maybe that's a good place to start.
Sure. So from time to time, during the existence of TextShare, which is some 14 years now, I believe, our board has analyzed, with the participants, has stepped back to take a look at the structure to figure out whether or not it is in the best interests of CUC from a liability perspective, and whether or not it provides us administrative flexibility. And in years past, when we did that exercise, the decision was always made that it was fine as a program of the Conference of Urban Counties. Remember how it's currently structured. Under Texas law, two governmental entities can join into an interlocal agreement. It requires two governmental entities. Urban Counties is not a governmental entity. We're a private nonprofit corporation. But the law permits an entity like ours to be named as the administrator of the agreement between two local governments. And so that's the way the program is structured. So CUC is not a party in an equal party with counties in the current agreement. But it's always been a program of the Conference of Urban Counties with the Board of CUC making final decisions. And so this last go-around probably started about 2 years ago when the makeup of my board changed. Questions were asked of me, especially by the representatives on the board who came from counties that don't participate in TechShare. And really the question was, John, why are we being asked to approve budgets that have already been approved by the participants in TechShare? If they want to spend this money, who are we to say no, and why do we have the authority to change those decisions? And so it's that opened up the door again for us to analyze the current arrangement. And other really encouraging developments were occurring at the same time, and that is we've had a lot of interest for TechShare software, primarily for TechShare Prosecutor, from out-of-state entities. And you all may not know, but last month we signed a deal with DuPage County, Illinois, for the use of Prosecutor. And we are in discussion with other counties as well around the country, not just in Illinois. But in order to make that happen, we had to have 2 governmental entities again. And Urban Counties is not a governmental entity and couldn't sign an ILA with DuPage County. And our current agreement doesn't provide for non-Texas participants. So we had to do a one-off agreement, and Tarrant County now has an interlocal agreement with DuPage County to furnish Prosecutor. And so going to the local government corporation creates a standalone local government that has lawful authority to enter into contracts directly with any other unit of government, both in Texas and out of Texas. So if another DuPage County comes to us, I don't need to go recruit a county to be a party to that agreement because the local government corporation will be able to do that directly. So that is the administrative flexibility granted. The governance change is that the CUC board is being removed from governance of TechShare, and instead the board of the LGC will govern TechShare. So each of the entities that chooses to participate in the TechShare LGC, and so far that's the counties that have approved it are Tarrant, Travis, Potter, and Denton counties. And Denton counties. And they have all named representatives. They will make up the original board. We hope that Dallas chooses to join the corporation as well.
And Colin has decided
Colin has decided not to participate, and I don't know why. I just got a message saying that they have chosen not to. They didn't even discuss it in court. They just told me they don't want to participate.
Does the position of Dallas County change in its relationship to TechShare as far as the projects being worked on here?
Absolutely not.
With the LGC coming on?
No, ma'am. So there's nothing before you today that impacts or changes or releases CUC of any contractual obligation for your implementation of court in both your district and county and your JP courts. It doesn't impact the development agreement for jail that's taking place, and you also have now an indigent defense implementation agreement, and those will be unaffected by the change today.
So,
Well,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, Judge. Finish. I'm still trying to process everything.
An elected leader of your CUC mentioned to me that a reason for this is the CUC members didn't want the liability of TechShare. What liability is this new LGC taking on, and what liability is CUC being insulated from in this change?
Prospective liability only. The LGC is only assuming liability for all agreements it enters into from January 1st forward, and CUC will only be avoiding potential liability under contracts it doesn't enter into effective January 1st forward.
So to the extent that there's some sort of liability for a contract entered into last year or yesterday, that would be the CUC's liability?
The CUC is still a party to those
January
contracts.
2, that would be LGC.
That's correct.
But the key, this is not the first time. This is not the first time we've talked.
Well, no, it's not the first time we talk about this, but let me tell you, and Mr. Rangel, thank you so much for your email and all the explanation, but just hearing what you just say, the concern right now is that CUC bank account could be liable for TechShare claims. And now that you have someone a customer out of state, DuPage County, for TechShare Prosecutor, you all decided that it would be better for CUC to create an LGC.
Sure.
Yeah, I get
So
it.
it's one thing to work with your member counties who you have a long-standing relationship with, It's another thing to go around the country and start contracting with entities that you have no
It's a
relationship
legal
with.
matter. It's a legal relationship that has to be established.
Because this is good, this is very good for CUC, guys. I mean, about Dallas County, I don't know, but for CUC, it's the right thing to do. It will shield their account from any liability and to be able, if there's...
Do it.
CUC cannot do ILAs.
Well, ILAs we can do because, Mr. Roden, Dallas County can continue the relationship with CUC without the LGC and do an ILA for maintenance. That's it, right?
Well, an ILA as...
We can do it without create an LGC.
You ask him, let the lawyer talk.
Okay.
ILA, they can't do it.
An ILA has to be between two governmental entities. Now, they can be part of the ILA for purposes of administrating the agreement between the two governmental entities. But they could not enter into an ILA with Dallas County alone.
Well, but we can continue the relationship with CUC.
But there's several of these governmental entities, like us, Midland.
That's correct. And so the statute under the ILAs does allow you to have a nonprofit serve to administer the ILA and what's going on within the ILA. And that is how they've been set up. The ILA exists because you have more than one governmental entity. You have several counties or governmental entities that are part of that.
Correct.
Now, as far as, I think your question, though, was as to the governmental, as to the local governmental corporation that they're talking about, the county legally, under those agreements, would not have to be a participating member of the corporation, but would still need, if they want to continue with maintenance and operation of the services that you are procuring, you would still need to enter into an agreement with that new LGC for them to do forward-going maintenance and operation. It's my understanding from the agreements, Mr. Dayhill, that CUC will not be doing maintenance and operations on a go-forward basis, so you would have to do those through an agreement with
LGC, but we can do it without being part of it.
No, you can't.
There are two different things. One is whether you're participating in the corporation. The other is whether you're getting the services for the maintenance and operation. But if you are not a member of the LGC, if you do not come in to participate in the formation of the LGC, then you have no voice at the table. You're not a board. You don't have a board of director member on the LGC that will be making those determinations on a go-forward basis.
What this does, and if you kind of distill it down, one of the problems we have with the CUC board over all these years is that they transition in and out on a constant basis because of retirements and losses and that. What you have are people that we have to re-educate every time they come on the board on what exactly is TechShare. So what we have is we have the oversight committee that's making all of these executive decisions on budgets and direction and vision and all that kind of stuff, and then you have to go sell it to the CUC board. And the CUC board, TechShare it's not an easy to understand concept when you're not dealing with it every day. So what this does is it gives the funding counties, which Dallas County has been a leader in that, along with Tarrant County, gives them an opportunity to take out the CUC board and to have the governmental structure, the oversight structure themselves. And that gives us more control and more transparency. And that's what this LGC is all about, is it's controlled by the people that are actually funding the projects, and it's totally transparent because now it's not, do you debate, well, do we have to turn this over, do we have to turn that? There's no debate. It's totally transparent now because it's a governmental entity. And the open meetings rules would apply too. So this is a very positive thing for the funding counties as well as the CUC. And this has actually been in the work for over 4 years.
Yeah, that's
it's just been very difficult to dot all the I's and get everybody to the point that we need to get to. So this, I believe this is going to be very beneficial for the funding counties as well as the CUC. The CUC, their real goal is at the legislature. I mean, that's what their real
That's what they're,
priority should be.
and we
want it to be.
appreciate that.
And let's turn this back over to the funding counties, the ones that are funding it, building it, and using it, and then we control our own destiny. So I probably misstated all that, but
You stated exactly correct.
Very well said.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Cantrell, and I definitely understand, that this will be better for operations. However, my concern relies that we're also shielding CUC, and so I won't be able to support it today. But and I have said here publicly now several times that in March, what is the deadline, for TechShare to, go live, as we discussed last time. I'm just going to wait for that day, and in the meantime, I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to support this item.
That's
Thank
all right.
you, Mr. Dunhill, I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Unfortunately, we don't need to wait for that day because in order to go live, we would have had to have a workable model to test here at the end of December, which we won't have. And if you read through all the documents that CUC has sent, they're now saying the earliest they could possibly get us anything is late summer.
I know, Judge, and I read it, but again,
That's not my understanding.
Yeah, March is gone.
My understanding is that we're scheduled to start end-to-end testing in January, and that
So you're back to March, you're going to get us go live in March?
my understanding from talking to our team this morning was that our deadline has not moved.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Move and second.
I got a motion and a second.
Call the question.
Call the question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
No.
And all abstain. And so the motion carries 3-1 with one abstention.
Court Order 24 is before us.
Stay there, Johnny.
So moved.
Second.
So on this, Daryl and I were talking about this yesterday. We have 3 projects that are not yet delivered, and under the terms of how this works, we don't normally do maintenance and operations on projects that we're not using and that aren't being used anywhere in the state. So in the maintenance and operations agreement, I don't see a jail charge or a JP charge, but we do see a $144,000 charge for a project, TechShare Court, the most beleaguered project that's been delayed 7 times, I think, something like that. And the theory is to make CUC whole. I'm not sure. I mean, the people I'm concerned about making whole at this point are the Dallas County taxpayers. So we don't want, I personally don't want the taxpayers to pay a $144,000 maintenance charge for something that doesn't exist yet.
So I don't know about the thing about making CUC whole. What I can tell you is that we learned a long time ago when we completed the first piece of software, that is TechShare Juvenile, that software development never ends. What happens is when you're initially developing it, you come to a point that you declare it to be ready to go live, and then you turn it on. And then once you turn it on, you work with each of the counties to identify additional wants and needs. But the day you turn it on, you know that you have a long list of things, we call it the backlog, that has been reviewed by your IT folks who have all agreed that these things are not needed to turn it on and go live, but they are needed or desirable. And so court is no different. Court is implemented at a time when it's not completed in the sense that you think of the word complete, because it never will be. In fact,
But has it gone live?
It is live in Potter County. It's been live in Potter County for at least about 18 months to 2 years now. They use it in their JP courts. So there is a need to address these backlog items, and they can be addressed in multiple ways. We could do it like this, where every county that's using it or implementing it can contribute to the things that we've identified will apply in every county. That is, once these things are built, every county will get it. And so we think doing it this way is kind of a democratic way of splitting up those costs. We could do it another way. We could say, Potter County, you're the only county live, therefore you have to pay for all of this development. But if they do that, they're going to say, at the end of the day, when you guys turn it on, the day you turn it on in March, you're going to get all these things that Potter County has now paid for. And Potter County is going to raise their hands and say, that's not really fair. So how are you guys going to pay me back? And another way to do it is we could just do away with the O&M agreement and parse out these costs of developing these things that all counties, again, are going to use in your implementation agreements. But I don't really know how to do that. I don't know how we split up saying this item that's going to be really expensive, take a lot of time, we got to give to Tarrant County, and these items that aren't going to cost so much, we give to Dallas County. And so the thought of the stakeholders was the things that are all going to benefit all the users of the software that need to be done and are being done today down in Austin by developers, we put them into an operations and maintenance agreement, and that's how we cover those costs.
But John, it's no different than when we implemented TechShare Prosecutor before Tarrant County did.
That's correct.
And I believe this is the program, Darrell, you may have to correct me, but once we turned it on here, they started paying M&O.
That's correct.
Okay, and so I understand what you're saying, but by the same token, these other counties could say the same thing. Wait a minute, they could say, Dallas County, you're turning it on there, but it's going to be a year to 2 years before we got it. Why should we pay M&O that whole time that y'all are benefiting from it, but we haven't even turned it on? We haven't even implemented it. So what this does is everybody benefits from it, and everybody shares that cost because everybody's going to benefit from it, even if they're implementing at a later date.
I'd be interested in seeing what exactly has gone live and is actually being utilized in Potter County. We use TechShare Prosecutor as, you know, an exemplar because that was a simpler program and one that worked.
And Juvenile.
And these simpler programs that did work are used, and now we've kind of lumped them all and given them a name, TechShare, so that it's as if we're Apple, and it must be good because it's made by Apple, even though those teams are completely different and these processes are, you know, completely different. But I'm curious, what is Potter County getting of value? I don't believe this has gone live. I mean, from what I can see, everybody that's looked at it says this is completely unworkable. This is, you know, has to be completely revamped. And I'd love to see it work, right? We're nearly $30 million in the hole now. I would love to see it work. But my understanding of under our contract of maintenance and operation is we maintain and operate something that has gone live and is working somewhere.
He just told you, Potter County, 18 months.
Yeah, I'd like to see exactly, you know, send me something as to what it is that the value that Potter County is getting from this thing.
They use it to run their justice courts.
To run their JP courts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they've implemented. The only reason
they're not using TechShare JP to run their justice
There's no
courts.
Texas JP. There's no such thing as TechShare JP.
They're using this thing.
It's our criminal integrated justice system. In other words, it has both. If you're familiar with JP courts, they have civil and criminal. So it's more complicated than just the criminal, and it's more complicated than just the civil. And so they're utilizing and operating under a true integrated justice system, and that's what we're completing right now because we have everything we need in order to do on the civil side what we're doing on the criminal side. So, and when you talk about, well, this thing isn't going to work because we've got to build it.
Well, I hope it does work, but until it does work, I don't want to pay to maintain it.
Is built on different platforms. This platform that we're currently implementing this on will be replaced as we do the M&O and continue to evergreen it. And that's when you get to the next step. You get implemented, you start operating, and then you start developing and moving to the next deal. It's no different than what we did with Juvenile, and we moved to the next platform that because technology has changed so quickly, from Juvenile, we changed it when we went into AIS. And now that's changed and going into TechShare. And it just keeps going up and up and up. There's no way you can just shut everything down and move to a different platform without it costing you hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm telling you, if you look at our limbs, you're having those types of issues. this is not unique to TechShare. It's not unique to IT. If people will be patient, this is going to work. Is it exactly how we wish it would go? No, but it's going to get us to where we have a truly integrated justice system that we can move to in the future.
And I know you believe that, and I hope that is true. Again, my concern is simply paying maintenance and operations on something that is not functional.
But we're getting the benefit of it. We're getting the benefit of what's going on in Potter County, in Tarrant County. And so, as has been explained by Mr. Dayhill, how do you fairly attribute the
It
cost
sounds like
of
this
that?
one,
And that's why
there are 3 people for that, but I'll just go on record saying I don't feel that it's a good use of the taxpayers' money to pay maintenance and operations on something that doesn't
That we don't
work.
have
Right. Maybe it will work someday.
Well, let me say this, because when you disparage TechShare...
I'm not disparaging.
Okay.
I'm saying I hope it does work.
Well, we've had 3 very successful projects with TechShare Juvenile and TechShare Prosecutor and...
But
we had,
that's like saying you had 3...
Indigent Defense.
But
no,
respectfully, that's like saying I had 3 really good meals, or I saw 3 really good doctors. We're not talking about those 3 doctors or meals. We're talking about this
But that's the
unique deal
experience.
built on the bankrupt source, the source code of AMCAD, a bankrupt company that couldn't make it work, that we took over. That is by far the largest endeavor, the most difficult endeavor this group's ever tried. Or I say this group because really it's different people on this project than on the others. So it'd be like saying, I know that this restaurant will be good because the other restaurant I ate in Dallas was good.
Well, I guess you're right, Judge.
That's the way it works.
I guess you're right. If we have 100% success rate, we should definitely consider ourselves a failure, because there is no way we're going to be successful on the next project when we've already had 3 successful projects and it's been 100% successful. I guess you can have that, but that's just an opinion.
Well, we're not going to change anybody's mind on that today, and I want to keep it as upbeat as we can today.
Excellent. Call the question then.
Yeah.
All right. Any further comments from anyone?
Question and comment.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
I'll vote no. All right.
Passes 3-2.
Passes 3-2 with Garcia and
Commissioner,
Jenkins saying.
you got it, right?
Minority. All right. We've got a couple of registered speakers, and will the bailiff please read the rules of decorum for our public speakers?
All Commissioner Court attendees are hereby advised that this meeting is conducted in accordance with the provisions of the Dallas County Code, Section 74-71. Visitors and registered speakers are to preserve order and decorum at all times. Personal, profane, or slanderous remarks are not appropriate and will not be allowed at any time during this public meeting. Any and all applause is to be kept brief in observance of time constraints. Disruptive visitors and registered speakers may be removed and are subject to the penalties provided in the State of Texas Penal Code, Sections 38.13, 42.01, and 42.05. Registered individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and the maximum discussion on any one topic is limited to 30 minutes.
Right there.
And our first speaker today is Mr. Terry James, President of the Board of Metro Care Services. Terry, come on down. And also there's some other board members here as well. Joe Martinez and Ken Bernstein are here as well, so thank y'all all. And perhaps, no. Okay, so thank y'all for coming.
You want to tell me about the time?
Oh, yeah, and Terry, so when I get through, you're going to state your name and your address, and then our faces will go away, that picture of us, and you'll see basically a stop sign, or I'm sorry, a stop light. When it gets to yellow, you've got about 30 seconds. When it gets to red, just finish your sentence, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And if someone interrupts you with a question or something, it doesn't count against your time.
All right.
Thanks, Terry.
My name is Terry James. My address is 7517 Wood Slope Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75249.
Let me, before you start the time, because you're registered as a speaker and it's not on the agenda, we won't be asking questions because we can't have dialogue with y'all.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
As Board Chair for the MetroCare Board of Trustees, I stand before you today on behalf of the MetroCare Board to fulfill our statutory directive found in the Texas Health and Safety Code. Texas Health and Safety Code, Section 534.014B states, and I quote, "The Board of Trustees shall annually submit to each local agency that appoints the members a request for funds or in-kind assistance to support the center." The term center used in the statute refers to a community center that may provide mental health, substance abuse, and or intellectual developmental disability, formerly known as mental retardation services. MetroCare is one of 39 centers that provide these services in the state of Texas. In our letter dated September 28, 2018, the MetroCare Board submitted its formal request for cash and in-kind assistance. We requested cash in support of the sum of $5.4 million in in-kind assistance in the form of interest-free loans for MetroCare's fiscal year 2019 intergovernmental transfers. The letter stated that $5.4 million cash request corresponded to the last year the county provided direct cash support to MetroCare, just before the imposition of the state-mandated managed care pilot program known as North Star in 1999. Our letter stated how the cash would be allocated and used in alignment with the board's policies. The letter provided information on the level of direct cash support some of your peer counties provide to support their community centers. That cash support ranged from as high as $34.9 million a year to $1 million a year for one of your smaller peers. After transmitting our letter, board members met with each of you individually to discuss MetroCare's state and the board's requests. We understand it is important to hear and discuss the commissioner's questions and concerns. We also wanted to convey the significance that any level of support to MetroCare would have in stabilizing MetroCare's cash position and strengthening the center, a desired goal of each of the commissioners. Further, this board understands the county has many priorities and significant budgetary restraints. Although your response letter dated October 8, 2018, and the responses from some of our individual meetings left members of the board disheartened, we believe it to be important to request support from the court and ask that it reconsider its decision and support MetroCare in a way contemplated by Health and Safety Code Section 534.014B. In short, any cash or in-kind assistance would greatly help MetroCare fulfill its mandate. But more specifically, the board hopes this court will support MetroCare at the same level it did 20 years ago. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to formally make our requests. I look forward to your answer. I look forward to meeting with each of you in the future to discuss the great work the over 800 plus employees of MetroCare are doing to serve the over 56,000 citizens of Dallas County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next public speaker is Mr. Richard Sheridan. Mr. Richard Sheridan, Mr. Richard Sheridan. Hey, Ken, we're about to take a break to go to closed session. I have a quick question for you. Can you hang on 1 second? Yeah, you don't have to come down, just wait.
While you didn't get to it, I want the record to reflect with regards to I still resent having to deal with this whole issue of the Arlington Higher Education Corporation. Only one of those units are in Dallas County, and Beckley Mead, they continue to fund. I sent all of my colleagues a listing of the $400 million. The one on today is a different set. They continue to fund, and all we get a chance to do, they publish in the newspaper, and we file. I want to talk about legislation. I understand why we have to file. Most of these, I think Grand Prairie, a couple of them in Dallas County. A lot of them are in Tarrant County. And it's the Arlington Higher Education Finance Corporation. And we have nothing to say about it. And I just want the record to always reflect that I do not support it. And at some point in time, we ought to be saying something about, why the hell do they file it here? Why don't they file in Tarrant County?
And I agree with them.
So that's noted for the record. All right, we're going to take a break for a couple of minutes and start our closed session to consider matters under Chapter 551 of the Government Code as previously posted. Any action as a result of a closed session will take place in a subsequent open session. That will begin in about 3 minutes.
But they didn't, it wasn't correct. Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, sir.